I'm Ann DeVere and my partner here.
Sherry Sotelo.
There we go. Okay, guys, so we're back. We're happy to be back. And today we're actually going to be doing a recap of what we have done all week. So let's see. Where did we start? Where did we start, Sherry? Why don't you get us going?
So we started this week with one, our introduction, so everybody knew that we were here. And then we went into our very first step, recognizing that we're going from powerless to powerful and what that means. And Anne, you've done an amazing job at really explaining in detail while being that little bit of the case study along the way this week in saying, hey, I recognize I am frozen. I'm stuck. I am powerless over everything outside of just me. And I brought us in, paved that way to say, okay, we recognize exactly where we're coming from. We are empowering ourselves. And now let's understand what powerful means and then how to take those steps to get there.
Yeah, and what do you mean just a little bit of a case study? That was the whole case study. Come on. I work hard for that. Yes, folks, this week I have been the case study. And if you're new, what we're doing is actually we're walking through the entire month, 4 weeks, the process of going from hopeful to achieving our goals to the next step, which is happy that we're actually achieving some things. The ground is being laid, which starts next Monday. Then the third week, it's about joyful. And what that means is that we're in the flow. We're actually doing what we want to do and living the life we want to live, and we can see the results. And then finally, the last week, we're going to be talking about free. Free, that means just freedom to actually choose what we want to do and do it how we want to do it. It's having a lifestyle and a business, yes, and a business that's actually supporting a lifestyle we want to live. And that's what this is about. And nobody can tell you what is the lifestyle you want to live, because life brings in different opportunities. And we'll be sharing a lot of our own stories as well as the stories of the people that we have been working with for, between the two of us, we have probably like 50 years, like 50 plus years. Okay.
Hey, if we're perpetually 29, I don't understand how we have 50 plus years.
But because you started at 3 years old,
Yes.
okay? Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
Okay. I can go with that.
Yeah. So it's okay. Child genius here, child prodigy. Okay, so there we no, but seriously, this is what you have to look forward to. We're sharing with you the systems, the things that we have been using for ourselves, as well as the people we have been working with for many, many years. Both Sherry and I have complementing experiences and expertise and experience. So we're bringing all that together. A lot of it has to do with the mindset, right? If the mind is not cooperating, then the rest of the life is not going to, the body is not going to
No.
cooperate. And there's this whole emotional component that has to kind of go in there and do its thing. So it's pretty exciting, actually. It's pretty damn exciting. And so, yeah, sorry I said that word. And so today we're recapping week one. Okay, so you know all that you have to look forward to, and so we're recapping the week one. So Sherry, let's go ahead and dive right into it. So going from powerless to powerful.
Hmm.
I know for me, admitting that I was powerless over my addiction And regardless of where you are, I don't care if you're addicted to food or gambling or sex or drugs or rock and roll or whatever in between, you know. So whatever you're addicted
Shopping,
to, what?
shopping,
Shopping? Yes,
or
whatever you're
shopping.
shopping. Yes, yes, absolutely. But the one thing we are all addicted to is another human being. Think about it. Think about it. Usually, if this for me, it was always somebody did something I did not want them to do, or they did something I didn't want them to do. So I would get upset that, I was not in control. And so I would go and do something that would, harm myself, whether it was drinking, whether it was shopping, whatever it was. And so, admitting and really seeing, never mind admitting, really seeing that every person in my life, they were all doing what they needed to do to take care of themselves. We are all responsible for our own welfare. Once I got that they were not doing or not doing anything that had, it had nothing to do with me. They were making the best possible choice for themselves. Well, once I got that, here's what happened. Uh, I went from feeling powerless, admitting that I was powerless over their decisions to do what they need to take care of themselves, feeling very empowered. To be
Happy Friday, folks.
yeah, yeah. More to come. Okay, so it's a feeling very empowered, and here's why I felt very empowered. That means that nobody else has power over me. Whatever I choose to do, it's always making the best possible decision for myself. That's what I'm always doing. That's what we do ever since we're like little goo goo gaga babies, right? I mean, come on. We always want what we want. And so learning how to manage our wants and needs and respecting others' wants and needs, it was awesome. Anyways, so because it had such an impact on me, I started asking Sherry, what's going on? Why do these things work? What's the science behind it? Can you please explain to me? I know it works, but why does it work? So now you heard the background of how do we actually live a life that we want to live, and why does it all make sense? So Sherry, I'm coming back over to you. This is the layperson part, by the way, right? I'm the layperson, and Sherry is the professional. If you haven't figured that out yet, okay.
Despite props, comedy, and spontaneous laughter, yes, I am the professional.
She
The
is
one
very
thing
professional, by the way.
I really am. I promise. Heart
No,
centered,
really,
everything.
she
Yes.
really, really is.
But I want to go back right before we go to that cognitive space where you went about understanding, because it was really about the understanding of being powerless. I want to, again, bring back in that we start frozen and stuck from our physical space. If we don't know what's going on, we will not move our body in any good direction whatsoever, good or bad direction. We have to know what we're working with. And so once we know what we're working with in the physical sense, then the brain picks in this whatever path that it wants to choose, and it moves right along and says, okay, I have that knowledge, I have that base. I am going to turn around and now have an emotion about it that's going to either make me go towards it or go away from it. Now, whether it's the emotions of us going away from things that we just don't want to deal with and we dive right into an addiction of any sort, that is that powerless to powerful component of, do I let this stuff take over my mindset and then just occur, or do I hit those brakes and say, wait, no, no more just giving in? I have too much information in my brain space to know that I don't have to acquiesce to anything that I am not going to choose. And so that's those three components of, from physical, cognitive, and emotional, that brings us from powerless to powerful.
Yeah. And something just thought crossed my mind as it always does. Um, I know that in the past, I used to be motivated by pain to take action, avoiding. things had to get really bad, sick and tired before I took action. And over the years, because of the changes and how I feel about myself, my self esteem and my self worth, and my deservability issue levels, all that, now I am pleasure motivated, which is wonderful because seriously, I mean, think about it. If the only reason you're taking action is because your toothache is so bad that you finally go to the dentist, come on, that's a painful way to live, as opposed to, I want those pearly whites, so I'm going to go to the dentist. Which note, I need to make an appointment. So at which point do we go? I mean, when does the switch actually turn to go
Actually,
yeah.
the switch was when you entered into powerlessness, because our primal state, our biological being as a species, we are pleasure beings. We are here naturally for reproduction. So obviously, we know there's a lot of fun stuff that comes with reproduction. And we're communal beings, we're a communal species. We aren't independent. And so we are born seeking pleasure. It's through our experience that allows us to say, oh, I'm escaping all of the stuff that maybe didn't bring me pleasure, and I developed poor coping. And so that's really actually the switch that we turned on was our powerlessness. Now we can turn off that powerlessness because we are all empowered. We are all vitally worthy. We are absolutely of value every single day, every single moment. That's how we were born. It's what we learned along the way that made us change our mind. And then so we just got to turn that back down, turn that back off and say, no, I don't want to operate that way from what I learned. I want to go back to that pleasure being, that seeking of fun and joy and happiness. And eventually that does bring us the freedom. And that's why this entire series is so important, because we're bringing us back to exactly how we're meant to be as humans.
Hmm.
And we
I
can do
love
this
that.
together.
I love that. So we go back to being our pleasure seeking baby selves.
Yes.
I love it. Okay, so now that we know that, that's where we want to go. We want to go from pain to pleasure, powerless to powerful. So that was day one. That was segment one, episode one. So the next one was manifestation. How do we actually create our checklist? We actually need a list. I know most of us do. If it's not on the list, we don't get it done. Work or otherwise. We go to the grocery store with a checklist. So, manifestation checklist. What are the things we want to manifest in different aspects of our life? Again, money, health, relationships, spirituality. Where are we? And all physical, mental, emotional. And so Sherry, gave us all that we needed to be able to kind of pull that checklist together.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, I don't know about all of you, but a lot of times I have to really stop. I'm like, what do I really want? So much of the time I'm on autopilot. So much of the time we are on autopilot. I'm like, oh, wait, stop. Is that really what I want? Sometimes we just go to our favorite restaurant. We just order the same thing because that's what we had last time. Wait, is that really what I want? And so having a checklist, I kind of like the idea manifestation checklist. Check, manifest it.
Mm-hmm.
So how do we do that, Sherry? So walk us through what we did for that.
So we had to do our body check. Are we here? Are we ready? Are we physically capable and able to? Is it within our capacity and within our reach? Because then that feeds into our cognitive. If we have the understanding that we can do it, it's check, I have the knowledge, or I don't have the knowledge, I'm going to go and get it. Check, I have the brain space to take on new things and return to our pleasure self, because we all deserve to be happy, and
Yes.
it just is an amazing piece. And then our emotions just fly right into it. And so that's really where we check, because that's what a lot of our overt behavior is. It's our emotional capacity going, oh, I'm coping with this well, oh, I'm enjoying this, or no, you know what, I really don't like that, or oh, this hurts me. And then we start to pivot and change some of the things that we do. So when you check these three things constantly and consistently daily, we'll always be in the path of moving forward. We can't move backwards in time. We know that the clock only ticks forward. So, yes, we're going to move forward, but or we can just stay stuck. So, if you stay on top of checking that physical, yep, physical body's ready. I'm ready. I'm out for pleasure. Take that however you will, folks. Um, Cognitive, I got everything I need in my brain space and I'm ready to go. And then my emotions are going to drive my next step because I'm feeling really good about it. Then we're well on our way. And we're two-thirds way through this hopeful section.
Yes, we are. And for me, I'm very spiritually centered, and so for me, my emotional state is tied in with my spiritual state. And so for me to best manage my emotional state, I have to, basically use the tools and resources that work for me on a regular basis and switch them up every now and then. So some of the things that I do, which, I was the case study here. So, morning meditation. And, I don't always like to just be still and meditate. A lot of my pleasure in meditation comes from me being outdoors and walking. And I have come to a place where I can literally be meditating while I'm walking, and it's just beautiful. Sometimes I just put my headset on, whether it's a guided meditation or there are certain songs and certain maybe instrumental, guided meditations, even recorded guided meditations. So I have found the things that work for me. So that's where it's almost like that's when my physical, mental, emotional comes together as when I have my spiritual centered. So, what are some of the things you do? Let us know what they are and what some of the information you're looking for, so we can find them and bring them to you if we don't already have them. And chances are you're going to be hearing them anyways because we have a lot of content coming your way. So yeah,
Oh,
with that, yes. Actually, I don't remember that I asked you, Sherry. What is your morning routine for getting centered and getting started for the day?
well, since my mornings typically begin at 3:30 a.m., I wake up and I actually feel my body. Hey, am I ready to kick my feet off the bed? Am I ready to put them down on the ground? What am I feeling as I'm sitting up and I get myself centered? So that paves the way of I'm not jumping out of bed, accidentally hurting myself. I'm someone that does live with chronic illness and chronic pain. Not that you'll ever hear a whole lot about that because I don't complain about it. I live with it. But I do this self check to say, okay, I'm physically ready to take on my day. And as I stand up, I evaluate my area, whatever area, especially as I travel. This could be in a hotel, this could be an Airbnb, this can be in my home, or even if I take a nap at my office, which I do often because my body says I need it. And so my morning routine really is about clearing the body so that I can come in with a ready, set mind to say, okay, today I'm taking in new information since I see clients every single day of the week. What am I going to learn from them? What do I need to do with that? What knowledge am I going to put right back out? And then I go through and I ask myself, how do I feel about today? Am I feeling a little anxious? Am I feeling a little sad? Is the weather perhaps even setting me off to a little different side that I don't want to be in? And so I walk and I do a lot of moving meditation. Meditation can come in any type of form. It could be that sitting in absolute quietness. I'm very ADHD. I don't sit very often. This is the most that people see me sit all the time, but you'll see me kind of fidgeting. Um, and that is my movement is what helps my brain focus in on what I need to do and clear the way out of everything, all the things that maybe I wasn't going to cope with too well if I jumped out of bed. And then, Anne, you really, twice this week, it really presented in you. And yes, we pulled it in as a case study. When
Yeah,
you did not get to do your walk,
yeah,
your day was sluggish. And so
yeah.
you threw it in right before we hopped on this show. And all of a sudden, it's like, bam, yep, here we are. We're good.
Yeah, yes. And you know what? I want to share, those of you who haven't watched it, please go watch the previous episodes. There's a lot of great information. Um, the thing that works for me every time is laughter. And Sherry, Sherry brought out the pom poms. We got pom poms and we got peas. And we
Where's my bees?
got,
Look, and I even have, so if you, when you can't walk and you need your little blade of grass, there's your little blade of grass walking for you. But here's our piece. Oh,
see, that's that is the beauty of being here, because you get to be part of our community where we do some silly things. We have fun. Life is too serious most of the time. And the laughter that we bring into every situation. Like right now, I'm feeling more energized, right? You know,
mhm.
so, but that's what Sherry did. I was like, oh, I'm, not kind of sluggish. She said, well, what didn't you do today? And you never know what she's going to pull out. Okay. So just a warning. Okay. And so, that was just great. We just got the energy up and going, and I hope you're doing that now. Got the energy going, and so that brings us to what we covered yesterday: goals,
Mhm.
simple steps to big wins. Now, I don't know about you, but whenever I set a really big goal, I can get overwhelmed until I actually break it down into, like chunks. It's easier if I can chunk them and say that's all I have to do, and that's all I have to do. But I do need to know where I'm going. It's like the GPS. I mean, if I just get in my car and just drive around and want to go to Canada, it's not going to work out. I'm in California, so if I want to go to Canada, I need to be going north as opposed to going south. I may end up in a country that's not the one I want to go to. Although I do love Mexico, but if I want to go to Canada, I need to go to north. Okay,
Right.
so how do we do this? What are the steps? So Sherry actually also walked us through, the physical, mental, emotional. That's my verbiage, and she has her own verbiage for the same thing. So go for it.
Mhm. And, just like Anne said with her GPS, she had to do her girl problem survey. Yes, the girl problem survey. Am I
We
ready?
don't have girl problems. Who said that?
Another day, another day.
Who said that?
It's okay. We are human. So yes, we are surveying surveying where we're going constantly. And that's where really moving forward, when we have our goals, we have to have our vision. We have to understand, again, from that physical place, can I go and do what I need to do? Am I going to get in my car and drive the wrong direction and not hit that cognitive brake and go, wait a minute, I know better? I absolutely know better. Yes, you do know better. And so emotionally, you say, turn around and go, you know what? I feel good about my decisions. Or, oh, maybe if we didn't realize that we knew better, but we were making a wrong decision, the emotion will kick in and say, I don't feel good about this, but I don't know why. So you take a step back and you reassess. Like, oh, okay, I know that I'm headed in the wrong direction. And so, Anne, I guess without you even knowing, you came through and you did that powerless to powerful step. You did that assessment step that you are here. And so, therefore, you changed how you approach today without recognizing it because you turned and you did all of the things so that you didn't start today the way you started 2 days prior. So this is that getting ready and understanding where you're at because you are hopeful of what we are going to start on Monday about this happy segment. And we came in with all different attitudes and all different emotions about it. And physically, where we're so ready and we're leaning into the camera and we're talking to one another and we're brainstorming and doing all new kinds of stuff because our goal was set and we did the first two steps that were necessary. And so that's why things are simple steps, but big, big wins. We make these changes so fast. We are learning cognitive individuals. We can turn around and learn something new and implement it right away if we choose. And that's what happened.
Yeah, yeah. I'm so glad you brought that up because the example, like even just before coming on live right now, Sharon and I were putting together a plan. Oh gosh, you guys are going to be so happy! But yeah, like we were just like super excited. Sharon was there
Yes.
with her
Yes.
whiteboard, writing things out, and we're like, yeah, and so knowing where we're going, the goal was there. And then we put together each individual segment, who's going to do what, who is really good at this aspect, who's really good at that aspect. It goes back to that thing. You make sure you put the bus driver in the driver's seat as opposed to the passenger because the bus isn't going anywhere. So, I mean, we were just having so much fun, each
Mhm.
one of us leaning into the thing that we're really good at. And so my question is, how good are you at acknowledging your strengths? How good are you taking pleasure in doing the things you love? And how good are you at collaborating with others and asking for help, whether it's a family member or a friend or a business partner, or maybe hiring somebody, whatever it is that you need to do? How good are you at doing that? Keeping the mind, you know, focused, keeping yourself focused on the end goal, the end result. And I know for me, years ago, I used to be like, I have to do everything. I have to. No, I don't have to do everything. And some things I'm really not that good at, and some things I really don't want to do. But uh, but I can do them. And so knowing the difference and being honest with myself made the biggest difference. Am I able to do this physically? Am I able to do this mentally? Do I have the knowledge? Am I, emotionally, am I fired up about this? I mean, just because I know how to do something, if I'm not fired up, it's going to deplete me physically, because it does. It takes a lot of energy to push something that doesn't want to go. And so a lot of this, just simple things, being mindful of what it is, has made the biggest difference for me, has had the biggest impact on my happy, joyful, and free, life, if you will. And that's what we're bringing to you. So with that, Sherry, I'm going to come back over to you. Is there anything that we left out of our recap for whatever we shared this week?
No, I think we covered everything. And I wanted to just add that everybody can now tap a different GPS, maybe not girl problem survey, but go to your greatness, go to your power, and go to your strength. And that will get you forward.
Love it. And so obviously join us, because starting next week, we're going to go into the implementation of it. How do we, like Monday, we're going to be covering faith and fear. How do we manage with getting out of the fear mode, going into the faith mode, and what happens? Sometimes we go back and forth so quickly, we think we're in the same spot, in the same space, but we're not. And so, well, if not, then what does that look like? So, we're going to be dissecting all that and looking at different aspects of it. And I know I'm going to be sharing my experience with it, but I can't wait to hear the science behind it. How does it work? And that's where our fabulous Sherry comes in. So, with that, Sherry, thanks a lot again for doing this with me. I'm having so much fun.
So am I. Thank you, Anne. I appreciate you.
My pleasure. Right back at you, my friend. Okay, so everybody, again, thanks for joining us. If you're watching the replay, thanks for watching the replay, and comment, ask questions. What can we bring? And share, by the way. Share, 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 and subscribe, obviously. And we will see you in the next episode, where we go from fear and faith. We'll see you next time, everybody.